And I've just started. Hello, everybody, and welcome. My name is Kuda. I'm going to be talking more about myself and how I work, and you're going to learn more about this. So the first thing that I want you to do is I want you to comment in the chat box. If you don't mind, I want to welcome you to this call. Just comment in the chat box your name and where you're joining us from, and I'm going to shout out your name to say thank you so much for joining us. Yeah, if you can do that real quickly. In about a minute from now, I just want to shout out your name. So just comment where you're joining us from, the country, the city, so that we can move forward. Just find the chat box, and I see that there is Amanda from Bulawayo. Welcome, Amanda. I have less than 30 seconds to welcome you guys. Pami says, hi, Kuda. Okay, I'm doing great, thanks. So let's see who's joining us again. Welcome to the call, everyone, and I have IX iPhone from a single. Okay, it's about Zimbabwe. Okay, so now let us go on, and I'm going to be welcome everyone as they come. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen. Okay, I'm going to share my screen and confirm that you guys can see my screen. Okay, confirm that you can see my screen. Just confirm that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start presenting right now from the beginning. Okay, confirm that you can see my screen in the chat box. Okay, Tapio from Harare. Yes, we're seeing it. Okay, so what we're going to be talking about today, what we're going to be talking about is, oh, I've closed this. Let me see. Okay, what we're going to be talking about today is planning your visa as a healthcare worker. Okay. In this session is going to be very, very specific because we're going to be talking about healthcare worker because that's what I have experience in. I'm not going to go ahead and share something that is really not what I know. So let me see if I can spotlight this. I need to see if I can spotlight. Okay, that's fine. Okay, I'm just going to leave it like that. So to start off with, important things really matters. I want to make sure that you guys understand the disclaimer, okay? The first thing that you need to understand is that information that I'm going to be sharing in these sessions is just for information purposes, okay? Education. Nothing after that. Please do check and verify any of the information that is shared with these trainings or sessions with the authorities. Okay, now there are different authorities that you're going to be working on. You're going to be working with the police, you're going to be working with lawyers, maybe you're going to be working with your employer, and we might share information that is not relevant and things like that. We just want to be on the clear about that, and we are not accountable for any losses or damages caused directly or indirectly because of these sessions. I'm going to be asking other people to share their knowledge and their expertise or their experience. They will share what they know, okay? It doesn't mean it's true or it's not true. It could be true, it could be wrong, it could be anyhow. So just take note of that. And under any circumstances, please make sure that you go ahead and consult anything that you want to do with your sponsor. If you are clear now, let us move forward. So right now, I am working with Nyari Online. I'm sure you guys are going through some of the training sessions with Nyari. And as you can see on the screen, she is teaching IELTS in 2 weeks. You can learn from your website. Your website is called nyarionline.com. So you can go ahead and ask about the lessons because she's actually helping a lot of people. And we're going to talk about this in the sessions that are coming as well. So coming back to my slides, for those of you who don't know me, okay, that's a picture of myself. I was actually I recently visited Victoria Falls, and I was actually doing helicopter ride, seeing the falls from the top. It was an amazing experience, and other activities that I did while I was in Victoria Falls. I live in Zimbabwe, and my profession, I'm going to talk a little bit about my profession so that you understand exactly what I do, and you get to know who am I and things like that. I'm an affiliate marketer. I'm an online business coach. I help a lot of people to expand their business using the internet. I'm very, very good at that and super good at that. I run a couple of online businesses, and I've been doing this since 2014. Okay, and this is now 2022. I'm still in that business. And if you want to learn more about me, you can visit my website, which is called kudaonline.com. I'm sure I'm speaking much faster because I want to get to the meat of the meeting here. Okay, so please forgive me. And how I got to know about assisting applicants in the UK. So one thing that I want you to understand is that my job involves creating websites for clients, technology and things like that, emails. It's what I understand much better. So one of my clients that I actually do work for, I did create a lot of websites for healthcare companies that are outside Zimbabwe, in Australia, New Zealand, in the UK and other countries. Okay. So that's what I do. We do create websites for businesses. And one of the businesses that I did work for, which is based in the UK, they had their applicants that were based in Zimbabwe that needed help. Okay, like how do they scan their documents? How do they do this? How do they do this? So the only contact person that they had to contact for assisting their applicants was Kuda, who was in Zimbabwe. Okay, so during that process, I was able to help a couple of people with making payments online and things like that. So those things, they may seem simple to you, but they may be very, very difficult to other people. Is that making sense? So they contacted me. I assisted a couple of people on how to apply to the UK, and some of them, they've gone to the UK, and some of them I'm still in the process of assisting them. So that's how I got to know about the process, and as I was actually assisting them. Okay, so I'm going to talk about, I asked one of the couple, I'm actually assisting a couple right now to go to the UK, and I asked them, hey, look, I've been helping you. I want to help a lot of people as well. So can I please share the stages that I've actually helped you, so that other people, they can actually understand how the process goes, okay? So they said, yes, you can go ahead and do that. So that's what I'm actually doing. I'm going to be doing a case study based on, I'm doing a case study based on I'm doing a case study based on the this applicant, or based on this couple. I'm actually assisting two couples right now at the moment, and just one. I'm going to explain about the use case for one. So what you're going to do is, what I'm planning to do is to do these sessions almost every single day. Okay, so the first day that we are talking about is, I've went back to the time when I had a round table with them and say, okay, you want to go to the UK, let us see what's your status of your documents, how do you live, like what should we plan. So this session is about planning, okay? This session is about planning. The next session is going to be about getting the next training and getting the attachment. And the next session is about getting the driver's license. Is it important, and what you should do? And the next session is about getting marriage certificate for those that are married, and things like that. And then the next thing is getting passport, booking your IELTS test, attending job interview, preparing for the interview, and induction course, TB test, and how they did it, the cost, and things like that. So it's a whole long series that is going to help you understand exactly what goes through my mind and how I've been able to help other people until they get to the UK. I'm sure that this information is very important for a lot of you. And if you have any questions for me, what I'm going to ask you to do is just write down the questions for me, and then I'm going to give you time to answer. So as you can see, this list is a very huge list. I'm going to tell you, I've been actually brainstorming the months that we did, and things like that. And there are a little bit of challenges as well in between. And we're going to talk about those challenges as well in these sessions. So let me just go ahead. So here's a list of things that you need actually to go to the UK. Okay. So the first thing that you need, okay, the first thing that you need is you need, let me see if I can get my drawing right here. Okay. Okay, I love to do a lot of drawing. Like I told you, I'm a coach, okay? I teach about online business. I'm sure you guys, you can experience the coaching session right now. Okay, so let's go ahead. So the first thing that you need is a valid passport, okay? That's the first thing that you need, and you need to work on that. Okay, and then the second thing that you need is a CV, okay? Who you are, your name, your age, and things like that. You need to do a TB test. You need to do IELTS, okay? In this case, I'm going to be talking specifically for the people that are going to do nurse aid training sessions, okay? in the UK. So that's what I'm going to be talking about. So now they booked general test, and then they as degrees, certificates, diplomas, and there is care standard certificate. A lot of people, they've been talking in the chat group that, hey, I'm going to do online thing. I want to do an online certificate and things like that. So this care standard certificate is one that they did online, the couple. Okay, I'm going to explain how they did that in police clearance, proof of residence, reference letters, copy of driver's license, and vaccination card. So basically, this is the list that you're supposed to work on ultimately, okay? But you may ask yourself, what is the first thing that I should start with? Where should I go from here? I mean, what should I do? Okay, so basically, looking at this list, that's what they had, that's what this couple had to go through, and probably what you have to go through as well. So let me just see if I can move back to the previous slide. So if I move back to the previous slide, you're going to see that there is a whole list of things. This is a larger and longer list, okay? And this is a very short list if you look at it, but doing the processes, getting into transport, buying airtime, making calls and things like that is a process that will take you to this very, very, very long list. So moving forward, one of you may be asking this question: where should I start? Okay, should I go alone or should I go with my spouse? Should I go with my kids or should I leave my husband behind? What should I start with? Okay, anyone else, what sort of questions do you ask yourself with regards to this? Can you go ahead and comment in the chat box? I'm going to be able to answer some of those questions. Please go ahead and ask. Let's do this, guys. I'm going to take some questions in the chat box right now in terms of doing just that. And let's see if I have any questions here. Who's going to be the first person to ask? Who's going to be the first person to ask? I hope you guys can hear me. Okay, I'm looking forward to the first question here. I'm looking forward to the first question. Let's go, guys. Okay, which ITL certificate is the best for Australia or Ireland? Okay, that's another question from Pami. Okay, okay, I'm going to check on that. Honestly, I really don't know which one is the best because I haven't assisted anyone who goes to Australia or Ireland. So let's go ahead. I'm going to take the last question. I can hear that someone is typing. So let's go ahead and ask, and I'll be able to move on once I have the second question here. Okay, I don't see any questions after this. I know you guys are going to come to my WhatsApp and start asking questions, but anyway, it's fine. Okay, it's fine. Yeah, let me just see if I can close this. Okay, so I see there's another question. Let me see if I can read this so that I can do a little bit of justice. Which band is recommended in general training? So basically this depends with your sponsor. Okay, this depends with your sponsor, but you need to communicate with them. But I think the best to get is at least to get 5.0. I think could be good. Okay, so let me see if I can mute everyone here. I can hear that some other people are okay. Okay, so moving forward, so those are the first questions that people ask. So now let us look at the use case for this couple. So the use case that I have is of a couple. You may be single, you may be trying to go with your husband, or you're planning for a wedding and things like that. So this is exactly what I told this couple, okay? So let us look at, let me see if I can get a little bit of a text right here, okay? Let us look at number one. I'm going to type in number one. I'm not sure if you guys can see what I'm typing here. Okay, so let me just see if I can go to another document. Okay, so that you can see what I'm typing properly. Okay. Okay, let me see if I can go to a Word document. Okay, let me just type here. So now the use case for this couple that we had is, number one, is that it's a couple And one thing that I asked them is that, what is the best thing to do if you want to go as a couple? Should I go alone? Okay, or should I go first and then my husband follows and things like that? However, what this couple did is that the wife had to plan to do the healthcare, and then the husband goes as a dependent. Okay, the husband goes as a dependent. Forgive me for my spelling, dependent. Okay, dependent. Okay, I'm gonna go for Nyaris English lessons. So the husband goes as a dependent. Okay, so the person who's going to be applying for the visa, for the work visa, is the wife. Okay, and then the second thing is that these guys were not married. Okay, so they made sure that they had to work on the marriage certificate. Okay, marriage certificate, because at some point when you're actually doing your application, you're going to be asked to produce your verification that you're married to this person. So they were supposed to work on that. And then what about kids? Okay, what about kids? Should we go with the kids at the same time? So the advice and the communication that I was communicating with the employer, she said that the best way is to have the two couple come first, and then they can collect the keys within a period of 3 months once they get to the UK. So that was the advice that we gave them. So that is what they're actually working on. So in terms of the kids, they had to make sure that they collect their passports and make sure that the kids' documents are ready, so that when they get to the UK, then the kids can actually follow. And one advice that I can actually give you in terms of you deciding if I should go alone, if I should go with my husband, let me give you a very good use case. Okay, let's say you go to the UK and you are the wife. Okay, you're going alone. Okay, and let's say your salary is 2 cents. Okay, let's say your salary is 2 cents, right? And then if your salary is 2 cents, let's say you have bills to pay and expenses each and every month, and probably your bills are dollar 1 cent 50. Let me say, or let me just say, example is $2 here. Okay, let me say $2. $2, okay? And then let's say your bills are like $1.50. Okay, $1.50 is the cost of your bills, and then you have 50 cents to save. Okay, 50 cents to save. You have 50 cents to save. Now, if you go as a husband and wife, this simply means if you guys are earning $2 each, $2 each, that means you have got $4 that you have actually earned. And then if you calculate your bills right here, if you add the money for your bills, okay, if you add money for your bills here, it simply means that you have got a lot more money to save. So if you're a couple considering going alone, I wouldn't advise that. I advise that you go with your husband or your wife right at the same time, and then the wife is going to work on making sure that your documents are in place, and you, the husband, you also make sure that your documents are in place as well. So there is the planning that you need to think through in terms of this whole process. So let me just go back to the documents again. I'm just going to go back to the documents that you need, okay? And then let me just put up this slide again. So if you look at this slide, what is the first thing that you need to start off with? What is the first thing that you need to start off with? Don't be pushed because other people are doing it otherwise and things like that, that you want to get the TB test first and things like that. So the first thing that you need to look at is to look at this document and see how long does it take to complete a certain process, and what are sort of the decisions that I have to make, okay, in terms of doing this. Do you have a valid passport? If your answer is yes, when is it expiring? If your answer is in 6 months and things like that, that simply means that you need to get a new passport. You just have to go on this list and then tick that I want to get a new passport, okay? Do you have have you stayed in another country in the past 10 years? Example, on the police clearance here, let's say you stayed in South Africa, okay, and you have a work visa and things like that. You also need to work on your police clearance. Otherwise, you may need to process your papers from Zimbabwe. And other than that, I'm going to ask you guys if you have any questions in terms of your planning, in terms of putting your stuff together. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and ask questions because we're almost coming to the end of our session. I guess I was really good with this, and I guess I was able to explain to you that the first thing that starts is the planning aspect of looking at this document and say, okay, this is what I have. What should I start with, and how should I put my documents all together? And for this couple, their process took about a year to complete. Other people that have actually assisted, it took about 3 to 4 months, so it differs. So in our next session, we're going to be looking at the nurse aid theory training, how they did it, and the attachment. That is the next session that we're going to be doing, and we're going to be doing that tomorrow. And I'm going to send the link again, and we're going to be talking about, is it important to do that? Is it important to do that? Why should you do that if you can do it online, and things like that? I'm going to be answering some of those questions. And lastly, Nyari is also teaching lessons. You can visit your website, which is called Nyari Online. So I'm going to go ahead and take your questions, guys. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that everyone is unmuted here. Please, if you're not saying anything, please go ahead and let me see. Ask or to unmute. Okay. Anyone with a question, please go ahead and ask. I'm going to stop sharing my screen right now so that we can see one another. Okay. Anyone with a question? Okay, I see someone has typed a question there. Let me see if I can read that from my phone. Okay, yeah, go ahead. Anyone with a question? If there's no question, then guys, I have to go. I'm gonna count from okay, so the question that I'm seeing in the chat, let me see. Okay, so I have two questions that are in the chat. I was actually muting some people that have been making noise there. Two questions that I have in the chat is, the first one is, hi Kuda, it's Kero. I just joined the Zoom meeting a few minutes ago. Wanted to ask if you help with sponsors. So, okay, so if you want to say something, please comment in the chat box so that I can actually unmute you, because it's disturbing others. Okay, so the question is, I just joined the chat. I just need to ask if you help with sponsors. So at the beginning of this session, I explained to you the nature of my job and how I managed to connect with one of the sponsors. I'm really in the process of learning to connect with other sponsors. And the short answer to that is yes, but right now I don't have any sponsors that are taking any people, unless if they tell me that they have an opening and things like that. And the other thing that I want you to understand is that, guys, I need to learn to keep my lane. I want to make sure that we are focusing on the IELTS training and things like that, and give you advice based on my experience and things like that. Once I have solid information about sponsors and that I can actually give you, yes, I can do that. Okay, the people that have been assisting were people that had the sponsor already. So the sponsor, I connected with the sponsor to say, Kuda, can you help my person who's in Zimbabwe to scan their documents, send emails, and things like that. So I didn't go out there and look for the sponsors and things like that, but the sponsors looked for me to assist their people, okay, with the staff. And then the next question is, does Nyari have online after class, weekend classes? Most of us are at work, we can't afford during the day. So point of correction, Pami, if you say most of us, speak for yourself, because we have got classes that are happening right now during the day, and most of them, they are full. And again, we've got classes that are happening online in the evening, and they're happening between 7:30 p.m. And then we are starting weekend classes month end. And also we are working on a solution that you can attend lessons done by Nyari that are pre-recorded. And we are starting to do that process today. And once we do them, you guys are going to have access to Nyari, and then you can learn at your own pace. We are starting to do that today. and we are setting up the website and putting the videos there and make sure that they are downloadable. And one thing that you're going to be experiencing is that when you are learning on the platform, we are going to be able to track your progress. If you log in, you don't do a lesson. If you watch a lesson, you don't complete a lesson, our assistant is going to call you to say, hey, Pami, why is it you haven't finished watching this video? Do you have any challenges? Why is it you haven't finished doing this task and things like that? We are setting that up for you guys. So it's one of the amazing experience that you're going to get as well. When did you start these IELTS training? So Foya is asking, when did we start? Okay. So we started IELTS training about a month ago, okay? About a month ago. So the whole idea, remember in the early session that I've actually explained, is that I'm an online business coach, okay? I have a class where I teach people how to expand their business online and grow and make profits online. So in my process of helping other people, to go to the UK and things like that, I realized that a lot of people needed to learn IELTS, and I had to search among my database of my students in my coaching program, where I teach people how to grow their businesses online, to say, guys, is there anyone who can teach IELTS? And then it so happened to be Nyari was actually one of my students in my coaching class, and she has been a teacher for 20 years. She has been an English teacher for 20 years, so she has been the perfect fit for what we needed to do. Then we launched this about a month ago. So yeah, that's what I can say. And then any other questions, guys? I'm almost coming to the end of this session, and the next session we're going to be talking about the NEST training. And what about, I want to take a month training. Liberty is saying, hi, what about if I want to take a month doing training? Is it possible? So the best person to ask this question is your teacher. I would recommend that you do 2 weeks first. Okay, you go for the 2 weeks first, and then once you do the 2 weeks first, then you can actually extend for 2 weeks more if you don't understand what is being taught. Okay. Any other questions? I want to hear your voices. Anyone wants to say something, just comment in the comment section that I want to say something, and then I'm going to make sure that you are unmuted. Okay, I'm going to make sure that your voice is, when you say something, everyone can hear it. We're almost coming to the end, guys. Okay, you're almost coming to the end. Anyone wants to say something? Okay. Okay, someone is saying thanks, Kuda, and I see that there is a Blessing. Blessing, do you want to say something?
Crash programs for IELTS.
Yeah, your internet is a bit bad right there. I could not hear you.
Yes.
Yeah, what was the question again?
I wanted to ask you, do you do crash programs for IELTS?
Yes, we do class for IELTS, and the class for IELTS is happening right now.
Can you hear me?
No, I cannot hear you. Your phone is breaking down. So let us move on to another person, guys, who wants to ask a question. You can type your question, Blessing, and who else wants to ask a question? What about payments? Of course, is it hard, especially to catch up the skills? So Nyari wrote an article about if learning IELTS is hard. I'm going to send it in the group. And I've come to the end of this session, guys. And if anyone has good questions, you can actually ask me in the group. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to unmute everyone, and I'm going to allow you to say goodbye and say your voice. And I really need to hear your voice. Okay, I've just unmuted most of you. Let me see. Okay, let's say bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
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 Okay, thank you so much.
Guys, all of us, meaning we just want to go to UK. That's why
Yeah.
we are here.
Yeah, that's true.
Zimbabwe with who? And our parents with who?
Bye, guys.